Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review on A World Without Heroes by Brandon Mull. If you guys don't know, this is the first book in a middle grade trilogy called the Beyonders Trilogy, and I've actually read this trilogy once already. This year I decided I wanted to go back through and read it again because Brandon Mull is one of my favorite middle grade authors, and I just wanted to experience the story again. So with that said, I know where the story is going to go, but this review is not going to contain any spoilers, so don't worry about that. Also, I forgot to say that this series is a little bit interwoven with his Five Kingdoms series. There are characters in this series that pop up in the Five Kingdoms series, so I actually do recommend reading these before reading the fourth book of the Five Kingdoms series. This series follows two children, Jason and Rachel. The book mainly follows Jason because at the beginning of the book you're following his perspective, and he's living in his small town in Colorado. Rado? Some people say Rado, some people say Rado. He's a very independent young man, and he is very stubborn. He doesn't really get along hugely with his family. His family tries to have rules for him and he just doesn't follow them. He's super into baseball, and actually this book has a reference to Brandon Mull's teacher. Coach Thayer was his English teacher, I believe, in real life, which is funny because I've read a middle grade book by Thayer's son, so small world. Anyway, at the beginning of the book, he ends up falling through the mouth of a hippopotamus, and he finds himself in Lyrian, which is a new world, so this is a portal fantasy. And his main goal after falling into Lyrian is that he wants to find a way to get back to our world. He ends up teaming up with Rachel, a girl who also comes to Lyrian through a portal, and they have to try to save this world, save Lyrian from a tyrant named Emperor Maldor, who has taken over everything, and he's like the only surviving wizard, in hopes that during that process they'll be able to find a way to get back to Earth. As usual with my book reviews, I'm going to go through my pros, go through my cons, give you my rating, and be done. My first pro for this is that it's just so fun. It's so silly, but it also has a lot of targeted messages and lessons for middle grade readers to learn. Like, there's a spinning tavern, so you have to try really hard to get on it. Another thing that they have is a Valhalla, but for living people and for Maldor's enemies, which I thought that was pretty cool. There's a ton of enemies in this world that they have to outsmart and stuff like that. One of the main lessons that this book really is targeted at is trying to define what a hero is, and basically saying that anyone and everyone can be a hero. It doesn't take an insane amount of strength or anything like that to be a hero to someone. I really liked that message. I really loved the world of Lyrian. I liked all of the different cultures, all the different types of people. This world was created by different types of wizards doing their magics and creating different species of beings and just kind of populating this world. The wizards also created a bunch of the animals that are in this world, so I just was really loving all the world building. I especially really like all the different beings in this. I know we haven't met them all yet in this book, but we have met a couple. We met one that's called a displacer. They're able to displace their body parts so they can take out an eye and it still works, and then they can put it back. They can take off their hand and it can run around on its own, and so what you see is just a slice through their hand, but everything is still moving. Pretty cool. And in this first book we meet the Amal Cabal, which is a group of plant-like beings. They're grown from seeds and they're practically immortal as long as their seed is planted in good soil and they're able to grow again. The only time that they are actually killed off is if the seed is destroyed in a fire or it's malformed, and so that would be their last life. So definitely one of my favorite parts of this trilogy is Lyrian and how rich it is, so that was a big plus for me. I love adventure stories, I love questing stories, so I was really enjoying Jason and Rachel's quest to recover all these different syllables. These syllables form a word, and it's a word that's supposed to kill off Emperor Maldor. So questing with the main characters to find these different syllables and solve all these different puzzles or defeat these challenges was really exciting and really fun for me. It was actually more entertaining on a reread to see them going through all of these different trials. With them recovering the syllables of the word, I actually was writing down all the syllables as we were getting them, so I was forming the word for myself. I know you're not allowed to write the word down at any point, but I was. So I was writing all the different syllables as I was reading the novel. And my last pro that I'm going to talk about is that I just really like the main characters. I love Jason and Rachel's camaraderie. They work really well together and bounce off each other well. They both have very good heads on their shoulders, and so I think that they are a good example of what people should be doing in these different situations when something comes up and it's not morally correct or you know, there's something wrong about it, these characters definitely question those things and are like, wait a second, this isn't right. For instance, women are treated a lot worse than men are, and the characters call this out and they talk about how that's not right and how Rachel should be treated just as well. So that was another big message of this book, was that women and men are equal, boys and girls are equal, and I just really enjoyed that message. And just to bring it back to what I was actually talking about, was that I really love their jokes and their banter going back and forth and how they go about doing all these challenges and taking turns and really relying on each other. So really like the characters, the world building, and the plot. Oh, one last thing that I wanted to talk about was that I really loved the ending of this. I think that it's a really good twist on the story, and that during the course of this novel there are a lot of seeds that he could use and does use in the rest of the series. Get it? Seeds, because the second book is called Seeds of Rebellion. So I am very, very excited to continue my reread and jump into the next 2 books. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of cons. My first con for this was that I know that young men sleep a lot because they're growing, but Jason literally sleeps all the time. I did not realize how much he's sleeping in this book until I reread it. Oh my goodness. The book is self-aware about it. They call out Jason for sleeping all the time, but it's just kind of annoying. I was like, just wake up and do your quest and get going. But he just sleeps. A lot of these cons are not huge cons for me because I love this series so much, but another con would be that the sentence structure is very simple, and it's very consistently simple. Like, it's the same structure over and over and over again, so it can become a little bit tedious to read, especially if you're reading it very quickly and powering through the novel like I was, because I was really excited about it. So it's a pro and a con, because the pro would be for young readers, the sentence structure is simple, easy to get through, and it'll be easy for young readers to read, but a little bit older readers will find it maybe a little bit tedious. Another thing that I noticed while going through this reread is that fat is always described as gross, especially in this one scene where they're trying to recover a syllable and they end up interacting with a bunch of people that are overweight. They describe them in not the best light. I don't know. I noticed it, so figured I'd throw it out there. And I just realized that that was my last con. So overall, I really love the characters. I love this world a lot. I love all the different types of beings. I really enjoyed this reread, and I'm just very excited to continue. There are just a couple of cons that I had, and I ended up keeping my rating for this book at my original 4 stars that I rated it when I first read it. Again, the whole trilogy is one of my favorites by Mull, so I definitely recommend it, and I hope that you guys will check it out. So that's going to be my review on A World Without Heroes by Brandon Mull. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read this series already. If you haven't read it yet, are you going to now? If you've read the 5 Kingdoms series, I definitely recommend going back and reading this one just so you can see what that overlap was in book 4. And anything else you want me to know, leave it down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.